Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Rick Myers, co-owner of Myers Carpet and Flooring, based in Dalton. Rick, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Kemp?
I'm good. You're celebrating 60 years in the business. You got started as an outlet store, and now you're a very successful retailer store, and I think most of your business is up on the upper end. So I want to tell our listeners a little bit about that story. So things got started in 1957, right?
Yeah, that's correct. My father would go to the very few mills that existed in Dalton back in 1957, and he would buy poundage. He would buy carpet by weight. He would take that and cut it into stair treads and small area rugs, and he would sell it at the old 41 Highway chenille shops that flew peacock bathrobes on the clothesline every day.
That's 57. Actually, your father's father had a smokehouse, and you had some of your operation on that property, right?
Yeah, that's where it started. It started on Dug Gap Road, which people in Dalton know very well, but it was before the road was paved. It was still a dirt road. Uh-huh. My grandfather had a farm with like 185 acres on Dug Gap Road, and he had a wooden smokehouse that he cured meat in boxes of salt, and he cleaned it out and let my father start Myers Carpet in this shack with one naked light bulb hanging from a wire.
That's changed, hasn't it? And so you have a brother. Your father's deceased, but your mom is still around, and you and your brother have the business, so it's family all the way through, right?
Right. My mother isn't active anymore, but she had her 90th birthday May the 1st, just a month or two ago. But my brother Ray and I are co-owners, and we are on Connector 3. My father started the very first carpet store on the interstate in 1971. So it's been here for a while. In 86, I think I doubled the size of the building. And then the best thing for our family business was when we decided to look outside of Dalton, and we opened a store in Atlanta. In 1987, we had just a 3,000 square foot showroom on Peachtree Street, and then 6 years later, we purchased a 35,000 square foot warehouse, 1500 Northside Drive in Atlanta, which quickly became our flagship store.
Yeah. And then you and I talked a couple of years ago when you bought Van Gilmore's business up in Nashville, and he was probably the biggest and most established, and also very similar story, very family-oriented, historic downtown flooring store. Now you've got presence not only in Dalton but in Atlanta and Nashville as well, right?
Right. In 1998, Myers Flooring opened in Nashville, but in February of 2016, we purchased Van Gilmore's business, Nashville Carpet Center, which gave us 15 new employees in Nashville. So now we have, in round numbers, about 85 people working for us between Atlanta and Dalton and Nashville. Dalton is our headquarters, where we have our HR person and our controller, and it's halfway in between Atlanta and it's about a 2-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive to Nashville. But we have some exciting news in Nashville, too. R.J. Young has a 60,000 square foot building right next door to our Setco Drive showroom, and we've signed a contract to buy that building. So hopefully we'll have one of the largest, or the largest carpet store in Nashville.
Well, Rick, it sounds like business is good.
Yeah. As I've told you in years past, we made a conscious decision years ago to go higher end. Yeah. Dalton has become a hub to import really high-end woven wool carpet, sisal, seagrass, and that sort of stuff.
Right.
So we are now the largest wool carpet retailer in the southeast United States, and one of the top 10 in the country.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so at one point, because when you start looking at the historic perspective of this, you were an outlet. Usually that meant a long time ago that there was one or two mills that had said, okay, we're going to sell through Myers as an outlet, okay? Now you sell all brands, and you sell the upper end of all brands, right?
Right. In years past, people were protected. We were the Evans and Black dealer in Dalton, and no one else in town could buy it. And then Carpets of Dalton would be the Philadelphia dealer, and Beckler's was the Queen dealer, and World dealer, and you were protected, and we would sell back and forth to each other, broker stuff. But that all changed several years ago, but now we've got probably 45 to 50 different lines that we carry of different people's products.
So you said last year, a minute ago, you told me the last year was your best year you'd had. Obviously, some of that's because you're building your presence, you're increasing the size of your footprint. But also, I mean, it's because you're staying relevant, you're focusing on fashion, and you don't just focus on carpet anymore. I mean, you sell hard surface as well, right?
Yeah, we do sell hard surface, and we all three of our stores have workrooms with people who can serge, bind, make custom rugs for customers. In Dalton, we are doing a lot more labor, as I've talked to you in the past about.
Right.
We are making custom rugs for a Coor stand and some different vendors that help us with labor here and making up for some of the retail business that's changed over the years in Dalton.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And your installation is subcontractor arm's length, but you keep them busy, right?
Right. We probably have possibly 25 to 30 installers every day of the week that show up in Nashville or Dalton or Atlanta that pick up goods to install for customers for us.
And you've never joined a buying group, right?
No, we feel like we could teach some people how to go high end.
Yeah.
It's something that's worked out really well for us. Dalton has become a hub for that. Godfrey Hirst, the largest wool carpet company in the world, is distribution centers here in town. Kane Carpets. Stanton is just a few exits down. Coor stands just across the street from us, across the interstate. These really high-end products of wool and sisals and seagrass are just as easy to get as a shawl or mohawk.
Mm-hmm. And if people understand what gross margin dollars are, you make more money when you sell higher-end goods, don't you?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Wool has been good to us. And Wool's of New Zealand, and the people in the wool business have, we've built up relationships for 20-plus years, 25 years, 30 years. The people at Stanton and some of the other high-end vendors we've had a long relationship with.
Mm-hmm. What's your ratio of hard surface to soft surface sales?
It's probably just a smaller amount, 10 or 12%. I would guess.
All
Is
right.
my best guess.
Yeah.
But
And
then I think I've told you in the past we've had a strange niche that over the past 5 years that we've become involved with the movie industry.
right.
In 2012, a woman walked into our Atlanta showroom and she was looking at samples, and she turned out to be the set director for Anchorman 2.
Yeah.
And that was set back in the 70s, the Will Ferrell movie, and they were looking for orange shag carpet and lime green carpet and things from that 70s look, and we found all that. And $68,000 later, she came back and she was working on the Internship with Vince Vaughn, and then Dumb and Dumber 2, and then Fast and Furious 7, and Fast and Furious 8, and Ben Affleck movie called The Accountant, a Russell Crowe movie called The Nice Guys,
Yeah.
a Jennifer Aniston movie called The Office Christmas Party. And so we're currently working on our 16th motion picture. Clint Eastwood's making a movie in the Atlanta area.
Okay.
We got our first order from them, and we just finished a Marvel superhero movie, The Black Panther.
How about that? Yeah.
Their first order was $43,000 worth of hardwood floors for one scene. So I don't know how many minutes it was on the screen, but the movie industry gets a 30% tax break in the state of Georgia, so it's really opened a whole new industry, in Georgia, and we've benefited from it as much as any.
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear about your success. And let me just a quick question a lot of people would want to know. We're talking about a family-run business, and I think you're kind of like me, got a little gray hair. What's your succession plan?
We were a mom-and-pop business, which we're not anymore. My mother worked there, my father, my grandfather, my great-aunt, back in the day, when we were a small business. But, like I said, we've got 85 people working for us now, and in 3 locations in Nashville and Atlanta and Dalton. And I have 3 sons, and 2 of my sons are working at the Nashville store. Yeah. And the one son, my middle son, Hunter, is the showroom manager of our Atlanta showroom. So they're 4th generation.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Well, it's great to tell your story, and thanks for spending time with our listeners. Again, been talking to Rick Myers about the fact he's celebrating his 60th anniversary. He's co-owner at Myers Carpet and Flooring, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.